Have you ever wondered why bad things sometimes happen to good people? This question has baffled the minds of philosophers, scholars, and the common man alike. Today we delve into a story that has been pondering this very question for centuries. Job chapter 1 from the Bible. In the ancient land of Uz, there lived a man named Job. His story, one of faith and endurance, resonates across time, offering wisdom and solace to those grappling with adversity. Job was a man of impeccable integrity and deep piety, yet he was subjected to unimaginable trials and tribulations, enough to shatter the resolve of the strongest among us. This timeless tale, nested in the heart of the Bible, sheds light on the enigma of human suffering and the power of unwavering faith. It is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and its capacity to endure, to hope, and to triumph. Join us as we explore the profound lessons of Job chapter 1. Once upon a time in the land of Uz, there lived a man named Job. This was no ordinary man. Job was a symbol of prosperity and piety. He was the epitome of an upright life, a beacon of morality in a world often darkened by sin. His wealth was astounding. Thousands of livestock grazed upon his lands. Camels wandered his deserts, and servants bustled about his grand home. His riches were not limited to material possessions alone. He was blessed with a loving family, his house filled with the laughter of his 7 sons and 3 daughters. Yet Job's wealth was not his defining trait. It was his unwavering devotion to God that truly set him apart. He was a man who feared God and shunned evil. In every aspect of his life, he was blameless and upright. His devotion was not a passive act. It was a conscious choice, an active pursuit of righteousness. He woke early each morning to offer burnt offerings for his children, a selfless act of love and faith. His piety was not a mere facade, but a testament to his deep-rooted faith. Job's life was a testament to the prosperity that could be achieved when one lived in accordance with God's laws. His wealth was not a result of greed or corruption, but of his dedication to righteousness. His life was a shining example of the blessings that come from a life lived in obedience to God. His devotion to God was unwavering, even in the face of adversity. His faith was not dependent on his circumstances. It was as steadfast in times of prosperity as it was in times of hardship. His righteousness was not a product of his wealth, rather, his wealth was a product of his righteousness. Job was indeed a man of integrity, but little did he know a great test was about to come his way. This test would shake the very foundations of his faith, challenging his devotion to God and his belief in the righteousness of his path. But that is a story for another time. For now, we leave Job in his prosperous life, content and at peace, oblivious to the trials that lay ahead. One day, the heavenly beings presented themselves before God, and Satan was among them. In the grand celestial court, a dialogue of divine proportions unfolded, a conversation that would set the stage for one of the most profound stories of faith and endurance. God, in his omnipotent wisdom, turned to Satan and brought up his servant Job. "Have you considered my servant Job?" God asked. "There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Satan, the adversary, was quick to counter. He suggested that Job's faith was not genuine, but rather a product of his prosperous circumstances. "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan retorted. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land." The implication was clear. Job was faithful because he was protected and blessed. Strip away the comfort, the prosperity, and the protection, and, Satan wagered, Job's faith would crumble. It was a challenge, a heavenly bet that questioned the very nature of faith. God, confident in Job's righteousness, accepted the challenge. He gave Satan permission to test Job, to take away his blessings and see if his faith would waver. But there was one condition, one restriction that God imposed. "Very well," God declared. "Everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." This was the test, the trial by fire that Job was to face. His faith, his righteousness, his devotion to God, all put to the ultimate test. It was a divine gamble, a celestial wager that would push Job to the limits of his faith and endurance. And so, God allowed Satan to test Job's faith, but not to harm him physically. The stage was set for the trials of Job, a story of faith and endurance that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day. In the blink of an eye, Job's world was turned upside down. In a rapid succession of calamitous events, Job's life, once marked by prosperity and peace, was shattered. First came the news of his livestock. Those grand herds of oxen, donkeys and sheep, symbols of his wealth and prosperity, were swept away. Raiders had struck, seizing the animals and slaying the servants who tended them. The loss was immense, not only in material wealth, but also in the lives of loyal servants. Yet, before Job could even begin to process this misfortune, another messenger arrived. This time, the news was even more devastating. Fire had fallen from the sky, consuming his 7,000 sheep and the servants tending them. A natural catastrophe, an act of God, had claimed what the raiders had left untouched. And still the calamities did not cease. Another messenger came, breathless and distraught, bearing news of a raid on his camels. 1,000 beasts of burden, another significant part of Job's wealth, were gone, and more servants' lives were lost. But the most crushing blow was yet to come. All of his children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, who were the joy of his life, were gone. A mighty wind had struck the house where they were feasting, causing it to collapse and claim their young lives. Job was left bereft, stripped of his wealth, his servants, and most heartbreakingly, his children. His world, so rich and full just moments ago, was now a landscape of loss and devastation. Yet, in the face of such overwhelming grief, Job's faith did not waver. He tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground in mourning. But even then, his words were not of accusation or bitterness. Instead, he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. The story of Job is not just a tale of suffering, but a powerful lesson on faith and resilience. As we delve deeper into Job chapter 1, we uncover profound insights about life, faith, and adversity. The first key lesson is the concept of unwavering faith. Job's faith was not dependent on his circumstances. Despite the prosperity he enjoyed, his faith in God remained steadfast, not because of his blessings, but in spite of them. This tells us that faith is not a fair-weather companion, but a constant presence, even in the midst of trials and tribulations. The second lesson is the inevitability of suffering. Life, as we know it, is a blend of joy and sorrow, triumph and defeat, gain and loss. Job's life was no different. He had his share of sunshine and rain. His story teaches us that suffering is an inescapable part of our existence. But it's not the suffering that defines us, rather, it's how we respond to it. Job responded with patience and faith, setting an example for all of us. The third lesson is the importance of maintaining integrity in times of adversity. When Job was stripped of everything he held dear, he could have easily succumbed to despair and bitterness. But he didn't. He held on to his integrity, refusing to blame God for his misfortunes. His response was, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." This profound statement of faith and acceptance teaches us that our integrity is not dependent on our circumstances, but on our character. So as we journey through life's ups and downs, let's remember these lessons from Job chapter 1. Let's strive to have unwavering faith, acknowledging the inevitability of suffering and maintaining our integrity in the face of adversity. Remember, like Job, our faith may be tested, but it is in these challenging times that our true character shines through. Job chapter 1 is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and remain faithful. We've journeyed through the prosperous life of Job, the heavenly wager that tested him, and the calamities that befell him. Throughout it all, Job's unwavering faith and resilience serve as a beacon of hope. It's crucial to recall these trials and tribulations. They remind us that even in the face of adversity, we can keep our faith unshaken and our spirits undeterred. Job's story encourages us to persevere, to stand firm in our beliefs and to trust in the grand design. Consider the lessons from Job chapter 1. Reflect on them, apply them in your life. Let them guide you when the winds of hardship blow your way. The story of Job is not just a tale from an ancient scripture, it's a living testament to the indomitable human spirit. When faced with adversity, may we all be as steadfast as Job, keeping our faith intact and our spirits unbroken.